how did you actually end up in a career in digital?
Okay, so let's go back to graduating university. I had no idea what I was going to do. I'd done a very broad degree in business and marketing. And during my final year, I just started, I was considering what my career could look like. Through university, I'd always paid my way through DJing. So I would DJ at weekends and during the week. And I wanted to try and think of how I could turn that into a career beyond just playing the club scene. So I set up a fashion label, and I actually wrote to a chap called Rajan Kumar, who owns a business called Whispering Smith, which is in Manchester City Centre. He's one of the biggest distributors of fashion across the UK, and I wrote him a letter telling him my predicament, that I was leaving university, didn't really have a plan, was big into music, and I liked fashion. So could we come up with a plan of bringing fashion to the music industry, that kind of thing? And he was in. He wanted to get involved in the business. I'd be running it, and we set up a business called Dirty Smart Clothing in around 2008, so just before the recession. And it was one of the best things that I've ever done, but a bit of a curse at the same time, because when it came to selling that business in 2010 or 2011, I was then leaving a job where I built a business in the fashion and music industry. I was only 20, I was early 20s, so maybe 24 at the time, and I needed to get a real job. And it was the only thing I had on my CV. And I really, really struggled. Fortunately, my big brother, who you may know, John, who I know that you know, in fact, he
Max,
was
yes.
working in digital, selling kitchens and bathrooms online. It was the family business. And he had a job opening in conversion rate optimization, which at the time I knew absolutely nothing about. But through my experience of running Dirty Smart Clothing, I understood how customers interacted with product. So Max, my brother, Max Hopkinson, taught me everything that I knew that I needed to work within the family business in conversion rate optimization, and I quickly became absolutely obsessed with understanding user behavior. And I think that this had always been drilled into me growing up with my father being in retail and distribution, understanding how people behave in certain situations through their buying cycle. It became something that I just thought about all the time, from a user seeing the first ad to creating their first click to navigating their session through a website to ultimately becoming a customer. It became something that I just obsessed over, and I've never really. I didn't really look back from that point, and it didn't matter that we were selling kitchens and bathrooms, and that I'd gone from a sexy industry of music and fashion. It was the user journey and understanding user psychology that really tickled me and made me obsessed with understanding digital and just
Fascinating.
behavior habits.
Fascinating. Did you give up the music, or did you
I
continue doing
did.
music?
I was, you know what, John? I continued it for as long as I could. I went from playing in clubs to playing on the radio, and I found that it was less stressful, less time consuming. And I actually my last gig was, I think it was in Norwich or somewhere, really, the music capital of the world, Norwich. Um, but I actually had a panic attack the moment that I stepped on stage. And I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, being in front of 1,000 people watching my every move, I think that I'd grown up to a point where I started getting scared of things and stepping in front of a crowd. My last gig was in Norwich. And from that point, I thought, okay, I can't handle the stress of that anymore. I'm going to do some radio stuff. Did that for a couple of years, and then I just didn't have time. The obsession with digital and wanting to progress that career took over and knocked it on the head. I'm still an absolute advocate for music, the music industry.